Today, the 15th of Adar Aleph is Purim Katan in Yerushalayim. According to most Shitas, we spoke about that in a different shir, which you could watch here on Tiny Time. And I'd like to just finish off our discussion about all year long being a 24/7 party. We quoted the Gra and Mishlei on the pasuk Toiv Leiv Mishte Tamid, which the Ramah quotes in the last simon of Orach Chaim and Shulchan Aruch. The Ramah brings a smach, he brings a proof that you should have a suda on the 14th of Adar if you're in Yerushalayim, on the 15th of Adar Rishon, from the pasuk Tov Leiv Mishte Tamid, Kol Yimei Ani Royim Heim, Tov Leiv Mishte Tamid, and the Gra explained an ani, Kol Yimei Ani Royim Heim, it doesn't refer to someone who's poor, who doesn't have money in his pocket. It can even talking about the richest person in the world who has billions and billions of dollars. If he's not happy with what he has, he's ani. Ezu Asher Asamech B'chelka. Who is rich? Somebody who's happy with what he has. So call you my only roim hand. The person not happy with what he has, he all his days are raw. But the person who has a good heart, his whole life is a party. And we said it's a party without wine, the Gra says. Because the Gra says in Mishlei there, 15:15, he says when you have a party with wine, when the wine wears off, then you lose your sad, right? You're only happy when you have you're only happy when you have your wine in your system. But Tov Leiv, the person who's Tov Leiv Mishta Tamid, his whole life is a party. His whole life is just one big party. Okay, so I'd like to conclude this concept with what it says in Pirkei Avos, right? Parak Beis, Pasuk Des. The Mishnah says about the Talmidim, the Talmidim of Rav Yochanan ben Zakkai, right? And he had 5 Talmidim. Rav Yochanan ben Zakkai had 12 Talmidim, and he was saying the praise of his Talmidim. Each one, right, said which is the right way for a person to go. Rabbi Elazar said Ayin Tov. Rav Shua said Chaver Tov. Rav Yossi said Shachan Tov. Rav Shimon said Rois Anolad. Rabbi Elazar, the first one was Rabbi Eliezer with Yud. Rabbi Elazar without a Yud said Leiv Tov. And said Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, right, that is the best one, is Leiv Tov, right? Leiv Tov. So, on that, the Gra explains like this, Leiv Tov. What's so good about Leiv Tov, says the Gra, right? Leiv Tov, he says, Shebechlal, Kamosh Kasu B'Yushalmi, Tnu Bin Lib Chali, it's Pasuk in Mishlei 23:26. Ein Im Yahavis. In Yahavis, Lib Chali, Ani Yadati, Dat Kuli. Says Hashem, if you gave me your heart, you gave me everything. Because the heart, says the Gra, is the makor. It's the source of everything. All your midos, all your attributes, all your thoughts, all your actions, all your feelings, everything comes from the heart. Right? Everything comes from the heart. So if your heart is given over to Hashem, then Hashem says, I have everything. Right? And this is the secret of Purim Katan. The secret, as I explained, there's 2 parts to Purim. There's the Pnimius and the Chitzonius. The Chitzonius we observe in Adar Sheni, the wine and the food and the dancing and the singing and the Matanis Levionim and Shalach Manos, Megillah, Suda. All those are in Adar Sheni. But Adar Rishon is Tov Leiv Mishtatamid. Adar Rishon, 30 days before the Yom Tov Purim starts, we observe the Pnimius of Purim, the inner Purim, the heart, developing your heart. And 30 days before Purim, we're starting to train ourselves. What's Purim all about? Purim's not about wine and about Mishalach Manos and about Matanis Levionim and Kriyas Megillah and Surah. Those are all important things, but that's the Chitzonius of Purim. The Pnimius of Purim is that Tnu Bi Lib Chali, give me your hearts, right? As Shakespeare said, lend me your ears, right? Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me ears. And I say, from Shlomo Melech says, Tnu B'ni Lib Chali, lend me your heart. Lend me your heart. Lend me your heart. For 30 days, Hashem says, lend me your heart. Starting from Purim Katan. Give me your hearts. Lend it to me. Work on your hearts. Work on your relationships with your spouse and your children and your parents and your friends and your neighbors. Work on that. Work on your mitzvahs, on your chesed, on your davening. everything that has to do with your heart. Every time you have an interaction with the heart and the world, work on that. And that is what Purim Katan is all about. That's the Tov Lev Mishnah Tamid. That's the person who has a good heart. His whole life is a party. Everything is a party. Because as the girl said, when you're at a Purim Suda, and you can have the best wine in the world, Cabernet, this from France. I was at a house once, they served 3 bottles of wine. Each one's $1,000. It was wonderful wine. It was incredibly Tova Meitiv Mahadran. But Lamaisa, a few hours later, or the next day, the wine wears off. What do you have? But when you have a heart, when you have a good heart, yeah, then you have everything. And that's Tov Lev Mishnah Tamid. Your whole life is a party. You'll always be joyful. Every relationship you'll have will be wonderful. Every interaction you have with people will be wonderful. Somebody screams and yells at you, then you'll say, okay, that's from Hashem, right? Somebody gets upset with you. Somebody doesn't give you the proper honor. Someone doesn't do a favor for you. You ask them very politely, and they do something. Or someone just comes up to you and treats you like a nothing. You'll say, totally Mr. Tubman, I'm having a party, right? When you're in the middle of the best party in the world, and someone doesn't say hello to you, you don't care because you're having too good a time, right? If you want to really enjoy life, you want to live life to its fullest, take the lesson today from Purim Katan from Yerushalayim, or if you're outside of Yerushalayim, we also don't say Tachnon. It's internationally celebrated, right? And I'm here at the Kosol getting ready for davening, and davening is the main part of the day when we give Hashem, right? It's called Avodah Shebelev, right? Right. Rachmana Liba Boy, Hashem wants our hearts. Because in davening, we take our heart and we direct it to Hashem. And we say, my understanding, Hashem, is in your hands. And my health is in your hands. And my parnas is in your hands. And Mashiach is in your hands. Everything, Hashem, is in your hands. So let's make the most out of Purim Katan, of Yerushalayim, Purim Katan of the Mekafim, Shushan Purim of Katan, and in another 30 days we'll have Shush Purim Gadol. Your Purim Gadol will be so much different, so much better, so much more rich and enhanced and wonderful if you're able to take the next 30 days and dedicate it to your heart. And we'll be discussing this more, B'ezrat Hashem. But just remember this: Tanu b'ni libcha li. The pasuk says in Mishlei Chav Gimel Chavav, lend me your hearts. Yeah, lend me your hearts. If you give me your hearts, then you have it. Then I'll give you everything. Right? Kula ba, because everything is in the heart. All your experiences stem from the heart. Hashem should give us great siyata d'shmaya. We should be able to give our hearts over to Hashem completely, not to have one iota of selfishness, atzmias left in our personality. Everything should be completely given to Hashem. And then we'll have the greatest ecstasy, joy, wonder. We'll be right here in the base of English. I'm looking at the stairway going up to the Har Bayis. We'll all be together walking up that ramp to the Har Bayis. Amen.